Hello guys, and in this video let's discuss something about stack and queues. So hope already you have an idea about what is a stack and what is a queue, and let me say you once again about what is stack and queue, right? So first let's see something about stack. So stack is nothing but it is always called as LIFO. So where LIFO stands for last in first out. So stack is nothing but it is also a kind of data structure where we used to arrange data in some format, but here the stack is also called as LIFO, right? So it follows LIFO order, that is nothing but last in first out, right? So in the name itself it says last in first out. It means that the last inserted value is getting deleted at the first, right? So let's see some more examples of stack. So some real-time examples include, right? So some real-time example include, so very first one is going to be balancing parenthesis. So balancing parenthesis is one good example that comes under a stack. So same way we have too many examples, but let me say you one real-time example so that you can understand about stack in a better way. For example, hope everyone know about what is undo, right? So undo operation is nothing but to remove the last inserted value, or to undo the last few changes which we have made, or the recently done changes should be revoked back, right? So for that case again we'll be using stack. And same way, for example, if I have something like int a equal to 10, and in next line I have given something like a is equivalent to 5, and if I give print f %d comma a, in that case I will be getting my output as 5 instead of 10, right? So here first I have initialized the value of a as 10, then we have modified a is equal to 5, and if you print the final value of a, it is going to be 5, because so this variable a again acts like a stack. So first I'll have the number 10. So what happens is, along with 10 now what happens is, instead of 10 a value 5 will be replaced. It means that it follows a particular order called as stack, right? So again from this stack the last inserted value is nothing but it is going to be 5. So this is how the program logic entirely works, right? So this is a real-time usage of stack, and we have seen about some real-time example for a stack, that is nothing but balancing parenthesis. Still we have something like balancing parenthesis is one good example, and if I want to do some undo operation I will be going with stack, and some famous problem called as towers of Hanoi and so on, right? So these are all some examples for stack. So third one is towers of Hanoi. So still we have some more examples which we can say for stack. As of now this is enough for you to understand about the entire basics of stack, right? So now let's start with queue. So here queue is nothing but it is called as FIFO order, right? So it is called as FIFO, or it follows FIFO order where it is nothing but first in first out. So queue follows something called as FIFO order, and that FIFO represents first in first out. So first in first out means whatever values you are inserting at the first, it will be removed or it will be deleted at the first. For example, real-time examples include online reservation system. So online reservation system where it includes something like now assume that you have a bus, right? So assume that you are going to book a seat in a bus, where bus seats will look something like this, right? So bus seats will be looking like this. Now assume that you are going to book this very first seat, right? So assume you are going to book this first seat, and there are 3 or 4 persons simultaneously trying to book this particular seat, right? So now what will happen is, in that server, right? So we'll have a server where multiple requests will be there for this particular ticket. So assume that person A, B, C, all 3 persons have given some request for same seat, right? So that is a server in which it gets hit with person A, B and C, where all 3 persons are giving a request for some seat, right? So not some seat, it is going to be the same seat. So for the first seat all three members have given a request. So the server, what it will do is, so it will look for the person who has reached the server or who has hit the server at the first, right? So here let us assume that A has come at first and B at the second position and C at the third position. So what will happen is, for the person A, the seat number 1 will be allocated. For all the remaining persons who is looking for the same seat, it will throw some error. So here it is actually following first come first serve, right? So it is looking like first come first serve, where it is nothing but FIFO order, so first in first out, right? So here it purely depends on the queue algorithm. So this is what the main thing which we need to focus about a queue. And coming back with stack and queue, here we need to know about few things, right? So when it comes with stack and when it comes with queue, we have to face some differences about stack and queue. So where stack is called as last in first out, so last in first out, and queue is called as first in first out. So this is going to be the first point which we need to consider about the difference between a stack and a queue. So coming back to the second point, here insertion or deletion happens only on the top, right? So here insertion as well as deletion happens only at one place, but here it is quite different. Like so insertion is at back side and deletion is from front. So this is how your stack as well as queue algorithm works. So in stack, insertion as well as deletion can happen only at the last place, or even you can say it as the top. But when it comes back with queue, insertion happens at the last side and deletion happens from the front. So this is what the main difference which we need to consider about stack and queue. And also we know about some real-time example for both. Let's see how the implementation will take place. So first let's see about a stack. So now in stack, what will happen is, we can say we have only two operations. So one is pop and another one is push. So we have two new methods which we can use for stack, and the very first one is called as pop and push. So pop means removal and push means insertion. So pop, it shows that we are removing an element, and push represents we are inserting an element, right? So now let's see about how the stack will be getting implemented in real time. So assume that this is going to be a stack, right? So this is going to be a stack, and now I have inserted a number 10. So where inserting a number 10 is nothing but push operation, right? So insertion, it should be used by used with the name of push. And now I have the number 20, then I have the number 30, and so on, right? So here one drawback is I cannot delete any elements in between, right? So according to the stack algorithm, we cannot delete any elements in between, and I can add the elements only at the top, and I can also remove the element only from the top. Say for example, we have 4 elements now. So here this is the first element I have inserted, this is second element, third element, and fourth element. And if I want to delete a particular value from your stack, so the first value that is getting deleted here is 40, so which is nothing but your last inserted value. So that is why we are calling this stack as last in first out. So now let's see about FIFO, right? So that is about queue. So here in queue, we'll actually have two sides, like a front end as well as back end. So let's assume I have the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is how the values are getting inserted into your queue. Now assume that I want to add the element 6, so it will be added at the back side. And now if I want to remove an element, so very first element that will be getting removed is nothing but the number 1, right? So removal takes place from the front end and addition happens at the back end, right? So again here it is going to be, so instead of pop and push, we used to say some terms like NQ and DQ. So NQ is for add, DQ is for delete, right? So here instead of push and pop, we used to say the method names as NQ as well as DQ. So this is how the program works, and this is what the implementation is. Let me quickly give an overview for your program, right? So first in the overview, what will happen is, always I will be having my head element as the new node, right? So always I will be having my head element. This is for stack, right? So for stack, always my head will be holding the new node's value, and new node will be always modified with, so new node of next will be equivalent to head. After that, I'll give something like head is equal to new node. So this is what it should happen every time inside your stack, right? So and now if I try to, so this is for push operation, right? So for push operation, we used to write these two lines of code, and for pop operation, I need to do this in an inverse case. For example, so we'll have the new node, right? So new node of next will be equivalent to head. So what I want to do is, so I just want to remove this new node entirely, right? So I'll be just deleting the value, and I'll be having one more variable here as temp. So where the temp will be holding the head's value in the previous temp, right? So always I will be having one more variable called as temp, where the temp will be holding my previous elements data, right? So temp will be holding the previous elements address, so that what I need to do is temp of next should be equal to null, and head is equal to temp. So if I do in this way for a pop operation, so what happens here is every time my head will be having my new node, right? So here head is getting modified with the new node, but this head value will be stored inside your temp, right? So this head value will be stored inside your temp. So what happens is this temp of next is now modified as null, where it is nothing but the second last element. For example, if I go with this case, right? So if I go in this way, so at last my new node is nothing but 4, and my head will be holding 4 and temp will be holding 3, right? So according to this, new node and head will be equivalent to 4 and temp will be holding 3. So now if I want to delete the new node that has been inserted here, what I need to do is 3 of next should be null, right? So 3 of next should be null, so that this 3 won't point out to this 4, right? So that is what we are going to do, and let us see in depth about this when we are going to implement a program. Same way when it comes with a queue program, right? So when it comes with queue, let me show you an example for queue. So here we have enqueue, right? So enqueue actually takes a normal linked list format, right? So here it actually takes the normal linked list implementation itself. So I don't want to write the code here. So only for dequeue, let's see what are the changes we have to make, right? So if I do the dequeue process, it means that I need to just change the head value alone. So head equal to head of next. So this is what I need to do whenever I go with dequeue process, right? So here we have to be careful, like whenever your stack value reach to empty, right? So there will be two particular state which we can face, like overflow state and underflow state. So overflow refers, right? So first is about overflow, where overflow refers stack has reached max, right? So stack will be reaching the maximum value, and when it comes with underflow state, there is nothing in your stack. Or even you can say that your stack is entirely empty, right? So and one more thing, your entire stack and queue can be implemented in two ways, right? So our stack as well as our queue can be implemented in two ways. So either we can use arrays method or we can use data structures, right? So preferably we can go with data structure, because even in array it is very hard for us to remove an element or else to change the size of an array dynamically, right? So we can't add elements each and every time. But if we go with the dynamic memory allocation for this array, again we can proceed with the same format, right? So but preferably we'll go with data structure implementation itself, right? So this is all about whatever things we have to remember about stack as well as queue, right? So I'll just repeat this once again. So when you come back with stack, it is actually called as LIFO, that is last in first out, and real-time examples are balancing parenthesis and undo operation in your notepad or wordpad or whatever text editors it may be, and towers of HANA. Still we have some more problems for this, and even assigning values to a variable also works in the format of a stack. And when it comes with queue, so queue follows FIFO order, that is first in first out, and some examples are online ticket reservation or data transmission through internet, right? So for example, in WhatsApp we used to have a bad habit of sending happy birthday text in different lines, like so H in a separate message, A in a separate way, P in a separate message, again P, Y, and so on, right? So here, even if I deliver these 5 packets in a different way, at last it will be received by the receiver's end in the same format through which I have delivered him, right? So this is one more advantage or one more application of queue, right? So, and next is about online ticket reservation system. It serves purely for the person who is hitting the server for the first time. So next, the difference between stack and queue. So stack, it is LIFO, queue, it is FIFO, and here insertion as well as deletion happens only on the top. Here insertion is happening at the back, but deletion happens at the front. And in stack we have two operations, so push and pop. So push is for insertion and pop is for removal. And when it comes back with the queue, right? So when it comes with queue, we have two processes, that is NQ for addition, DQ for deletion, right? So here this is the implementation of stack, where we'll be implementing the elements one over the other, and deletion as well as insertion happens only at one place. But here when it comes back with queue, insertion happens at the back side, deletion happens at the front side, right? So, and these are all the codes. Let's see in the implementation procedure so in-depth explanation about these codes in the upcoming part. So here actually we need to know about overflow state as well as underflow state, where overflow state is nothing but your stack or queue has reached the maximum values it can be stored, as well as underflow state is nothing but there is nothing to delete from your stack or queue. It means that your stack or queue remains empty. So here it can be implemented in two ways, but preferably we can go with data structure format itself. Okay guys, now let's see the implementation of a stack program. So first, as usual, we have to write our header file, that is hash include bits /stdc++.h. Followed by this, let's start creating our first class that is required here. Before that, let's write that using namespace std. So followed by this, let's create a class, and here instead of node, so in the previous session we have given the name as node, right? But now I'm going to give the name as stack. So inside stack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a public as an access specifier. Followed by this, same way I need int data part as well as next part. So we have to give stack star of next, right? So in previous code, since the class name is given as node, we have used node everywhere in our program, but here I have given the class name as stack. So that's the main reason why I'm using the name stack here also. So followed by this, I need head variable that should be equivalent to null, and here I don't want temp variable actually, right? So for this entire program execution, we don't want temp variable, so just simply I'm creating that new node alone, right? So or else instead of new node, let's keep it as new stack, right? So that you can understand it better. So followed by this stack, what I need to do is now normally for a linked list program we used to have that insert method, right? So instead of insert method, here in stack we have already discussed, that is, so insertion is called as push and deletion is called as pop. So what I want to do is, so I need a method called as void push. So push is for insertion, so what I have to do is stack star of head and data. So it will be quite similar to the previous case itself. So similar to this, I need a pop method also. So void pop, it's a void push as well as void pop. So stack star of head. So that's all in this program. And first we have that class stack. We have created our class properly here, and we have one more method as push, as well as we have one more method as pop. Followed by this push and pop, now let's write the display function. So void display, and here as usual it should be stack star of head, and inside which I want to write something like while head of or head not equal to null, right? So while head not equal to null, I just want to print the values, right? So see out head of data, right? So I just need to print head of data, and then I have to give a space, so head of data, and then I need to print a small space to show the difference between all the output that is printed on the screen. So followed by this, let's just try to change the value of head equal to head of next. So here one more thing, the implementation will be actually in a reverse order, because in a stack always the top element will be moved one step every time, right? So that's what we are going to do over here. And now let's so we have just completed our display method, and we have just initiated with push as well as pop method. So let's try to fill this push method. So inside push, as usual, what we need to do is new stack is equal to new stack of. So we are just creating an object for the stack. Followed by this, let's do something like new stack of data is equal to data, and new stack of next will be equivalent to null by default, right? So let's give it in this way, followed by which I need a if and else condition, right? So almost it is similar to the linked list itself. So if star of head equal to null, if head value is equal to null, here do remember we don't have the temp value, right? So we don't have temp value, so directly I can write star of head will be equivalent to new stack, right? So else I need to go inside this else part and do the remaining procedure. So here what I need to do is, so the new node of next should be the head value every time, right? So new node of next should be equivalent to star of head, and next is star of head should be modified as new node. So this is what the steps we have to proceed over here, so that every time your head value will be pointing to the last node that is getting inserted. And if I want to delete the last node, it means that head should be removed and it should be modified as head of next. So that is how you can directly delete, or you can directly remove the instance of the last node that has been created here, right? So I have just made a few small mistake. It is not new node, it should be stack, right? So new stack of. So now let's we have just done with that push method, and let's fill inside the pop method. So inside pop method, what I need to do, so in star of head I need to do a small modification, or else in pop method we don't want to call any parameters, right? So in star of head, what change I have to do is like so star of head equal to head of next, right? So star head is equal to star of head and that next, right? So this is how your entire loop is proceeding, right? So now let's move with writing the main function for the program. So int main. So here as usual we are going to do the same process, but there will be some changes in this, like I don't know when I'm going to use the push operation, when we are going to follow the pop operation and so on, right? So let's write a switch case over here. So before that, int choice comma data. So I need two values here. One is going to be the choice and another one is going to be data. So while of 1. So where while of 1 represents it will be an infinite loop. So here I'm just going to get I'm going to receive the value for choice at first. So see out, enter your choice, and followed by this I will be giving a choice value. So C in of choice. So switch of choice. So according to choice value, it is going to pass with the switches. So switch case. So let's write case 1, and case 1 is for insertion operation. So let's assume in that way. So I'm going to give C out, enter the value or enter the data, right? So now I want to give C in, right? So C in data. If data is greater than 0, then what I need to do, so I need to call push operation here. So instead of insert, we are using the name as push. So push, and next is about ampersand head comma data. So we have to pass these values, and then I have to give a break. So after pushing the entire value, I need to give break. Next, let's write case 2. So where case 2 is for pop operation. So pop, and then give break. Right. So at once I call pop operation, see what happens here. So we are just changing the head value to head of next. Followed by this, let's have case 3, and case 3 is for completely doing something like printing the entire value. So let's call display method, and let's pass head value, right? So case 3 is nothing but display. and followed by this one. Let's have something like case 4, where I'll be giving return 0 to stop the entire program execution. So let's give break over here, right? So this is how our program execution is going to work. So let's try to compile this, and it's asking us to save. So I'm just saving this, and see, we are getting yes. So instead of new node, I have to give new stack. Let's compile this one more time. Okay, there is no such errors in the program, and it is asking me for choice. So we know that choice 1 is for adding the element into the stack, that is push operation, and choice 2 is for pop. So let me insert the number, let me give the choice as 1. So it is asking me enter the value, so I am giving the value as 10. So again it is asking me a choice, since we have given it as an infinite loop. So again I am giving 1 as a choice. So now I am inserting the element 20. So again I'm going to give the choice as 1. We are inserting the element 30. So now we have inserted 3 values, right? So let me just try to print all the values. So see here, it is giving everything in reverse order. So we have 30, 20 and 10. So now my choice is going to be 2. So where 2 represents it, it is a pop operation, so that now it will remove the last element. So 30 will be removed, and remaining values is going to be just 20 and 10. So let me give 2, and again it is asking me for choice. So let me give 3, and see here the value 30 and 30 alone is being removed from this. So now at once I give 3, that is display function, it is just displaying the value 20 and 10, right? So this is how the program actually works. So followed by this, now again let me give pop operation, and let me use the display. See here, we have only 10 as the output, right? So again let me try to give the choice as 2 now, and our program execution stops, because at once I give 2, it will remove the last element from the stack, that is going to be 10, and there is nothing to proceed in the entire program. So it will just break the entire code. So this is how stack actually works. So hope you will be clear with stack. And similar to this, we can also do few more operations like checking with the balanced parenthesis, right? So a balanced parenthesis is nothing but, for example, see here, I have opened my opening the brackets here, and I am closing the bracket over here. Same way, we have that parenthesis over here, and for the same switch case, I guess you can see the imaginary line. So the same parenthesis is being closed here. So wherever we open a function or we open a bracket, it is mandatory to close all the brackets, right? So for example, now assume that I have an angular brackets, inside which I have a square bracket, inside which let us assume we have one more curly braces. So here this is a good example for a balanced parenthesis, because at once I have an opening bracket, it is getting closed, right? So it means that always there should be one pair, or a pair of brackets should be in existence, so that we can say that it is completely a balanced parenthesis. So now let's try to implement a code to check whether a parenthesis is balanced or not. So let me just do some modifications in this code, or else let's have a small hands-on session for this, right? So let us have a paper-based session, so that after doing with the paper-based session, you will have a clear idea about how to implement the code. So I'll make sure that the code is also being attached in the GitHub and shared to you guys. Now let's start with the implementation of a queue algorithm. So as usual, let's start writing our header file. So that is hash include bits slash stdc++.h. So we have included our header file. Followed by this, let's write using namespace std, and now let's give class, and it is going to be queue, right? So let's include the name as queue itself. So here as usual, give something like public and integer of data, and second one is going to be queue of next. Okay, so we have just done with creation of a queue class, and now let's give all the objects that are necessary for the entire program. So that is star head is equal to null, then I need star of temp, also I need star of new queue, or else let us name it as new node itself, so that we will have a better clarity and we won't confuse anywhere in the program. So let's write new node here, but the class name alone is given as queue. So after this, we have to write two methods. So one is going to be void NQ, right? So in a queue we have learnt about NQ process for addition. So let's do something like Q star star of head comma int data, and for deleting an element we have to name it as void DQ. It's void DQ, and here let it be, or else let's just remove this off. And now what I want to do is I need to write a display function. So let's start writing void display of, and Q star of head, and that's all about display program. Now let's come back with main method. So int main. So similar to the stack program, here also I need a while loop, as well as inside that while endless while I need a program, I need a logic to collect the choice from the user. Either he needs to add an element, or he needs to remove an element from the queue, and so on, right? So int data comma choice, and followed by which I will be writing a while loop, and while of 1, which shows that it is going to be an infinite loop, inside which I am going to write a line of code. Say for example, let me write something like cout enter your choice. So cout enter your choice end L. So now let me just give the input for choice. So cin of choice, followed by this I need to write a switch case. So switch of choice. So where let us assume case 1 is going to be our NQ process. So first step is I need to collect the data from the user, right? So let's write cout enter the data. So followed by this let's do end L, and cin data, and now I just need to call that function, right? So if data is greater than 0, it's if data is greater than 0, I want to add that value inside the queue. So let me write something like NQ of ampersand head comma data, and then break. So case 2 cout, or else case 2 is for pop operation, right? So pop is nothing but we have to give it as DQ. So again let's do break, and case 3 is for display purpose. After that let's do break, and any other case, so that is default, is for returning 0, or to stop the entire execution of the code. So now we have just filled off with our main method alone. So followed by the main method, what happens here is if I give the choice as 1, it will go with inserting an element into the queue, right? So it will just proceed with insertion of a value into the queue. And if I give the case as 2, it means that it will follow the operation based on DQ, that is removal of an element from the queue. And 3 is for displaying the entire one, right? So C is for displaying the one, that is 3. So let's do cout end L alone. So this is for displaying purpose, and followed by that if I give any other number instead of 1, 2 and 3, it will stop the program execution entirely. So now let's fill this remaining 3 methods. So first let's fill the while display loop. So while head not equal to null, then what I have to do, cout head of data, sorry it should not be there, so head of data, and head should be modified as head of next, right? So that's all about our display method. We have done with this. Now let's try to fill this DQ process. So in DQ what I need to do is star of head should be modified as star of or else let's do something like head equal to head of next. That's all about this, and I should proceed this only if head of next not equal to null, right? So only when head of next not equal to null, I need to change the head value to that, else I don't want to do any other process. So when it comes back with NQ, what we need to do is, so first is creation of object. So new node is equal to new queue of, So we have successfully created an object. So next is new node of data is equivalent to data, and new node of next is equal to null. Now if star of head equal to null, then star of head will be modified as, right? So star of head is equal to new node. Same way temp should also be equivalent to new node. Now let's move with the else part, and here temp of next will be equivalent to new node, and next is like temp should be modified as new node. So that's all about the implementation of code. So now let's try to compile this and check how it really works. So in this place we are receiving an error. So we have forgot to pass the head variable. So let's compile this one more time. So now our program has been executed perfectly without any error. So it is asking for choice. So let me give the choice as 1. I want to enter the data as 11. Again 1, I'm inserting 22. Again 1, I'm inserting 33. Now the choice which I'm going to give is 2, so that it will remove the first element 11. So now I want to display the entire output. So see here 11 is being removed here, and we are just displayed with values 22 and 23. So now I am giving the choice as 1. I want to add the element 11. Now I want to display the entire value. See, we have 22, 33, 11. It means that all the elements are inserted at the back side and deletion is happening from the front. So let me show you one more time. So now I want to remove this 22. So I'm giving the choice as 2. And again I'm giving the choice as 2 one more time, so that 22 as well as 33 will be removed. So now I just want to display this, so I am giving 3, and now see we have the element only 11 inside our entire queue. So now let's give 5 or any other value, so it will stop the entire program. So this is how our code works, and we have successfully completed our queue algorithm. So guys, now it's time for a small comparison between the stack as well as queue program that is implemented by using C++ as well as by using Java. And here in C++, similar to this Java, we have just created a class called as stack. Same way in Java also we have a class called as stack, and inside the class stack, what have we done actually, right? So first is we have just created in C++, we have just given all the variables that are required for a node to be created, and we have also created the objects that are necessary for the entire program. Same way here inside this, what we have done is, so instead of this class stack, we have actually used a name called as node, right? So this stack is actually for the entire program which we have done, and head, last and temp refers to the objects that is being created for this class, right? So after that, what we have done is we have a push method. Same way in C++ also we have a push method. In this push method, again we are receiving that stack of head as well as data in C++. Same way we are passing that list. So here instead of head, I have to pass the list. Only then I can access the head value by using this list object. And then we have received data, and followed by which we are creating an object for the class node, and data as well as null value is being initialized here. So we have also done the same in line number 13, 14 and 15 in C++, followed by which as usual we have our if and else condition, right? So similar to the C++, so what we have done in C++, so the same process is almost done in Java also, but here in addition to that we have one more variable or one more object that is called as last. So here, since it is implementation of stack, I have done entirely by using one object itself, that is head. But here when it comes with Java, I have utilized one more object to be done, and followed by which we have a else part. So similar to the implementation of C++, it is almost the same one. Like here it is new node of next. Same way here, that is next is equal to new node, and listed at last is equal to new node. So the same procedure has been followed for both C++ as well as Java. Followed by which we have a pop method, but if you see in C++, we have only one line for pop operation, but when it comes with Java, we actually have these many lines of code. So the thing is, so why do we have some extra lines of code? So the only reason is, like, I have implemented few procedures, like whenever your stack is reaching the underflow state, or if it reaches to the empty state, I have to say that value also. So for that purpose, we have used a new condition, that is if the value is equal to null. It means that if I am starting with a head value which is equal to null, it means that there is no such objects or no such element is stored in that stack. It means that the stack is purely a empty one. So I have to display this message as stack is empty, else I have to go with removal of the top element. And also every time whenever I remove an element, I am just trying to print the value in the screen. So the popped element is, so that every time before removing an element, you will be displaying the element on the screen and you are going to do the process. So this is how it actually works, and that's the main reason why we have only one line of code in C++ and many lines of code in Java. So here in the GitHub you will be getting all the codes here. Please do download those codes, try by yourself, and then you will get a clear idea about why we have written each and every statement that it. So now let's move with the print method. So print method is completely the same one, but here I didn't implemented anything by using something like if list is equal to null, it means that stack is empty, right? So I didn't use that particular values, but here directly I have shown you only with the implementation procedure. So I strongly believe that once you are clear with the implementation part, so if you are completely strong with basics, whatever different type of question they are asking from stack, you will have that ability to solve the code by yourself. So that is what my ultimate aim is. So to make you have a clear cut idea about how a data structure works. So that is what the main reason behind my way of teaching. And here I have taught you only about the implementation part, and in Java code I have written everything in a perfect way, like if you want to implement something and what if it goes beyond the limit, or what if it goes under the limit, and so on. So for each and every movement, whatever you are going to do in your input, everything should be captured and you should respond a proper message for that. So that is what we are actually doing inside this display method, and here I have used the name as print instead of display. So followed by which we have a main method, and in main method as usual we have that switch case, and here I just have given default as display, and then I have given return 0 to stop the entire program. And in Java what I have done is, so case 1 is for insert, that is enqueue process, or you can say it as push method, and case 2 is for pop, and case 3 is for printing the entire value. And at last, if I give any other numbers other than 1, 2 and 3, your program execution will be stopped. So this is how your stack program actually works. So let me just compile and show you the Java code. Okay, so first I'm going to give the choice as 1, so it is push. I'm inserting the value 11. Again I'm pushing 22. Again I'm going to push 33. Now let me do pop. So if I give pop, that is choice 2, see here it shows the popped element is 33, where 33 is nothing but the last inserted value in my stack. So top of the stack is getting removed. So now let me give pop operation one more time, and now it says popped element is 22. So let's try to print all the values. So now in the stack we have only the element 11 alone, right? So the stack is just 11 alone. Now let me give pop one more time. See here it shows that now the stack becomes empty, right? So I have just completely removed the element. After removing the element, it just shows that my stack has become empty. So this is how your entire code works. So now similar to the same, we'll just go with queue algorithm. So for queue also we are almost following the same procedure. So each and everything will be same, which we have implemented in C++, but only few differences are like usage of objects over here, right? So and when you are comparing the stack program of Java as well as queue program of Java, in stack you have to remove the new node that has been inserted every time, but in queue you have to modify the head value alone. So see here, whenever you are going with dequeue operation, I'll check with list.head equal to null. If it is equal to null, it means that your queue is empty. If it is not equal to null, it means that I have to display the queued element is, or else let me just show you in a full screen. So if there is some element in existence, it means that it shows the dequeued element is, so listed.head.data. So head of data should be displayed. So that is going to be the deleted element. After that, head element is modified as head of next. So that is what we are doing here, and then we are returning the list back, so that what happens is every time your head element will be removed and address of head will be modified to head of next. So this is what it happens whenever we try to remove an element from a queue algorithm. And same way remaining values, that is printing as well as addition of values, is going to be the same process, right? So hope now you will be clear about both Java as well as C++ implementation for stack as well as queue. Okay guys, so now let's discuss about balancing a parenthesis. So what exactly is balancing a parenthesis? So this is one most frequent errors which we will be facing on all the program which we are going to code. For example, so every time whenever we write a main function, we will be opening the bracket, but in some compilers it won't automatically open and close the bracket. So what happens is, if you just open the bracket alone and if you forget to close this one, it will throw an error, right? So how is it working? So this is nothing but balancing a parenthesis. Say for example, your input can be in this form. Say for example, if I have a curly braces inside which I need to have a bracket like this, and I can have a square bracket or whatever it is. But if I am opening a square bracket, in between I should not have only opening bracket, or I should not have only closing bracket. In between that I can have any type of bracket, but it should be in a pair. So this is what exactly is considered to be a balancing parenthesis or a balanced parenthesis. For example, here assuming this input, I have a opening bracket over here and at last I have a closing bracket. So this one is balanced. Same way, I have an opening bracket over here and at last I have a closing bracket. So this is again a balanced one. Same way, the square brackets is also a balanced one. Again, your curly brackets is also a balanced one. Now the problem is, now assume that I have an input like this. So in this case, it is not actually a balanced parenthesis because this is not forming a particular pair. Same way, if I have something like this, it is a balanced parenthesis. So if you have something like, so this exactly, it looks like balanced one, but still it is not a balanced one because we are not having pairs in a proper format. Say for example, here I have a opening and closing bracket, so within which if I have something like this, this is considered as a balanced parenthesis, but here this is not a balanced parenthesis. So it means that each and every time at once I have a opening bracket, I need to have a closing bracket in the form of a pair, else it is not yet considered to be a balanced parenthesis. So now let's see how to implement this code, and I will be attaching the code in the GitHub. So this is actually a task for you, so please do try after the end of this session. So first I'll deliver you what logic we are going to form in this. So let's assume that you are getting your input in the form of a string. Since each and everything here is a character, I can't say it is going to be a numerical value, so it should be of data type string. And let's assume that your string input is equivalent to, so let's assume in this way. So this is going to be my input. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be using the stack implementation, right? So why do we use stack implementation? Because every time I find a closing bracket, I need to check with the opening bracket also. So if the last bracket is a opening one, it means that it is purely a balanced one, right? So but still we have to check till the stack becomes empty. So now I have a stack. Whenever I see a opening bracket, either it can be any one form out of these four. So if I find any opening bracket, I need to insert these brackets into my stack. Else if I find anything that is of closing type, then I have to pop one time and here I have to push, right? So if it is opening bracket, so for open type you have to push, for close type you have to pop your stack once and you have to check with the opening bracket. For example, now my first is a opening one, so I'll be pushing inside my stack. Again I have a opening bracket, so I'll be pushing it inside the stack. When it comes with next one, it is a closing braces, so pop this one and check whether it matches with any of the closing one, right? So if it matches purely with any one of the bracket, and this bracket, angular bracket, is actually a match with this, so what I need to do, so this is actually a perfect match here. So I'll be taking out this value and check whether it is a proper opening bracket or not. So if it is matching with this one, so these two are a pair. So what I'll be doing is I'll be moving with the next element. So already this element is getting removed, so you have only a curly bracket inside your stack. So now when it comes with opening bracket, again you will be pushing it inside, and when it comes with closing braces, again you will be popping this off, and you will be moving with the next element, and here I have a curly bracket. So when it's a curly bracket, it is of closing type. So you'll be popping your stack once and check with this, it is a pure match for forming a pair. So you will remove this off, and now after this I don't have any value to proceed with the given stack. So I'll stop the execution of the program, and now I'll check if stack is empty. So if my stack is empty, my output should be balanced, else it is not balanced. So this is what the logic is. Now let's see one more example. So let's assume that your input is in this way, right? So let's assume your input is in this way. So now what I'm going to do is, same way, let's use a stack. Do remember, if it is opening, we have to push. If it is of closing type, we have to pop one element from the stack, that is top of the stack, and then we have to match with the next element that is of closing type. Now first value is of opening, so I'll be pushing it inside the stack. Second and third is also of opening type, so you'll be pushing it inside your stack. When it comes with next element, it is of closing type, so I'll be having my closing element and I'll try to match it with this particular opening element. But see here, what is there in top, it actually retrieves this one, right? So here, whenever I find a mismatched element, directly you can say output as not balanced and stop the program, because we want to make your program to be a efficient code also, right? So we should not waste with time complexity, and we are going to strictly follow the time complexity property also. So make sure if it finds anywhere in middle as not a balanced one, you can suddenly stop your program anywhere and print the output as not a balanced one and stop the entire execution. So this is how your entire program is going to work, right? So what if the last one is also a closing one or opening one in different case? So for example, now assume that your input is looking like this. So in this case, what I'll be doing is, first it is a opening one, so I'll push inside my stack. Again it is of opening one, I'll push it inside. When it comes with third element, it is of closing type, so I'll match with this, it forms a pair. When it comes with next element, it is a opening type, so I'll be pushing inside my stack. Now it completely ends with the end of the string. Now check whether your stack is empty or not. So here stack is not empty. So if stack is not empty, again it shows that it is not a balanced parenthesis. So this is what we are actually doing in our program, and please do find the attached program in the GitHub link. Try to modify this code in an efficient way, and whatever code I have given is actually not in an efficient way. You please try to modify the code, and please do share your link in the comment box.